Okay, take two because I put it on for 1 minute. That's just not going to cover it. I love when they go to Macau. My brother had a business with Angela Ho, Stanley Ho's daughter, there for a while, and then they got in a big dispute, which is how every dispute ends with my brother. So we're going to talk, a lot tonight about styles and what makes them work and not work, and then we're going to talk a little bit about weight too. Alex Perez versus Sumadera, the one named fighter. I love it. Look, Sumadera had a lot of physical advantages, which can do very well for you. But he also had a very, very deep stance. Now, in MMA, that deep stance is meant to keep you on your feet, right? Although he was semi-bladed, so I don't know how good a job that would do, but he's really tall, so maybe he's afraid of that takedown. It also limits his kicks. For a little while, I thought, well, maybe the guy can't kick. Then I saw some of his kicks, front kicks, round kicks. They were actually razor sharp. I think if he stood up a little longer, a little taller, he'd be able to keep the range better. As it is, by squatting down as much as he did, he made Alex Pereira in his same punch range practically, right? Like it's taking your advantages and vanishing them. I know it's takedown defense, but that can be an issue. How did the fight eventually went back and forth with both them exerting their will? Alex Pereira did a great job in the first round of, walking through the length and doing some damage. Sumadera came on later, and then it all ended with a front kick to the groin. Guys, I don't know what to say about that. If your cup is a little small, I remember I was fighting Spider. Forget Spider's name, but he was a scrap pack guy. And he kicked me right in the nuts. And I had a small cup on, and I thought having the small cup was actually an advantage because it wasn't in my way, which is an advantage so you get kicked because the cup actually lands right on your testicles. So I don't know if that was what was going on with Alex Pereira or what. The bottom line is he couldn't continue. Shame for us. We didn't get to see the rest of the fight. Jake Matthews versus Harris. Let me say this. This is definitely when one guy is very technical and one guy is not. Now, sometimes it works out differently, right? Like the non-technical fighter can be so weird it baffles somebody. But that doesn't usually baffle a truly, truly technical fighter. Why? Because a truly, truly technical fighter is following all the rules that have been established for a really long time, and they simply work. Now, Dominic Cruz rewrote the rules in MMA for a long time until a disciplined boxer in Cody Garbrandt made him suffer for that. But for a long time, Dominic Cruz had an undefeated run where he's the best bantamweight in the world. Jake Matthews punished Harris in this fight, made his technical skills both on the feet and on the ground work for him, and he took the fight clearly. Kai Asakura versus Smotherman. Look, we're finally seeing Kai Asakura at his full potential. Why? Bantamweight, right? That weight cut to flyweight was just too much. And oftentimes they ask that of fighters. I remember when a teammate of mine, Jake Shields, was fighting in Strikeforce, and he was middleweight champion, 185. He just beat Dan Henderson. Said, okay, great, come on over. You're going to fight George St. Pierre at 170. And that weight cut for Jake, especially in the tune-up fight with Martin Kampmann, was very, very evident, right? He did a little better in the St. Pierre fight. I think he felt relaxed about it, but he probably would have beaten Anderson Silva, and probably the UFC knew that, and they didn't want to give Silva a bad matchup like that. But listen, we're finally getting to see Kai Asakura self-actualize. My friend David, we sponsored him on Deke Shoujo here, fought in Fierce recently. He'd been going flyweight. He won his a double championship flyweight and bantamweight as an amateur. Came up to pro, said, I got to go flyweight. The old adage, you got to stay in the lighter weight division. David finally went up to bantamweight, and he self-actualized, and he performed the way he was supposed to, just like Kai Asakura did, and he got the W. Listen, guys, weight cutting can give you advantages. It can also give you a whole lot of disadvantages. But fun night from Macau so far. Everybody like and follow for more on The Fight Game.